Greetings, hockey fans. Well, it's been a tough couple of weeks for fans of 1970s goalies, as in a short period of time we've lost Ken Dryden, Bernie Parent, and Ed Giacomin. And speaking of Ed Giacomin, probably one of my first hockey memories was 69-70 season, back page of the New York Daily News. There was a photo sequence of Eddie after he took a slap shot between the eyes from Bobby Hull without a mask. And he was being led off the ice holding a towel to his face. And somehow that made me want to be a goalie, believe it or not. And I patterned my own goaltending style after Eddie. I would come out to way out of the net to cut down the angle, or come out to try to beat a skater to a loose puck. So we're going to play some Hockey Blast. We've got the 75 Flyers with Bernie in net, and we've got the 71 Rangers with Ed Giacomin in net. And we're going to be doing 16 skaters, even though the Flyers would have dressed 17, since the Rangers, the home team, were dressing 16. And we've got two pretty famous lines out there. We've got the gag line, Rattel, Hatfield, Joubert for the Rangers. And we've got Clark, Barber, Leach for the Flyers. Okay, so I've got the correct score sheet in there, and we're ready to get underway. And a lot of times I'll just be announcing the result without looking at the charts, because I've got a lot of the results memorized. And whenever there's a lull, I calculate the lull shots as we go along, because there's a chart some gamer came up with to figure out the lull shots and lull penalties as you're playing, rather than doing them at the end of the game. So here we go, face-off, Clark versus Rattel. And that's a 5, so it's an automatic play for the Flyers. And we roll for the play. That's the secondary chart, 7. And 7 is 3, 4, 5. So that's Clark passing to Bladen, passing to Dupont. It's going to be a 3-star shot for Moose Dupont. And a 6-1, that's going to be a save by Giacomin, and he covers up. So there'll be a face-off, and we put the second line out there. Kachuk, Faber, and Ballone. That was a good checking line. And McLeish, Lonsberry, and Dornhofer for the Flyers. And here we go, face-off, and that's going to be a lull. So you mark off 3 minutes, and that's 2 lull shots for the Rangers and 1 for the Flyers. So the same line is still out there. We're going with 3 lines. We'll sub in the fourth skater and the 5th defenseman here and there. Okay, same line out there, and there's another lull. So things quiet in the early going. That's 4 lull shots for the Rangers and a lull penalty for the Flyers. And here we go, another face-off, and there's another lull. 4 more lull shots for the Rangers, another lull penalty for the Flyers. Let's see if we can get some action going here. And there's 8, that's going to the home team, so the Rangers take over. And it's a 6, that's a zoom, that's 4 versus 2. Jimmy Nielsen versus Lonsberry, we're checking for the hit. Jimmy Nielsen's got the hit, so the Rangers have momentum, and they've got to play. And 7 on the play chart is the secondary chart. And 7, again, 3, 4, 5. So that's Kachuk to Nielsen to Tim Horton. Tim Horton's got a scissor shot, so that knocks it down to a 1. So it's a 1-star shot for Tim Horton. And there's a 10, and that's going to be snared with the glove hand by Parent. And the Flyers take over. Mark down a shot for the Rangers, and the third line is out there. Kindrachuk, Schultz, Selesky versus Stemkowski, Irvine, and Bob Nevin. And the number 1 defenseman pair is out with them. And a 10 is going to be a turnover if they've got a defensive square, and the Rangers have 2. So we're still in the same minute, but the Rangers have the puck. And there's another lull with 4 more Ranger shots and another Flyer penalty. So neither team able to get much going there, and that will kill the Rangers' momentum. So we've got a slow-going first period here, and face-off, Stemkowski over Kindrachuk. Rangers got it. They start out, and there's a zoom 1 versus 5, so it's going to be Nevin versus Dupont. And we are checking the smart quality. Home team, since there's no momentum, Nevin's got the smart quality, so it's going to be another play for the Rangers. And 7's another secondary chart. And 8 is 2-1-5, so that's Irvin to Nevin to Sealing. So it's going to be a 0-star shot against Bernie Parent. And 10's going to be another glove save by Parent. He dumps it off to the defenseman, and the Flyers start up. So far, Flyers are getting way outshot here in this first period, but most of the shots for the Rangers have been low shots. So here comes the Flyers' top line. That's going to be an odd man rush. And 6, we're checking for a defensive square on Rattel. He doesn't have it. So the Flyers gain the zone. They're making a play. That's going to be a 1-3-4. That's Leach to Clark to Bladen. That's going to be a 4-star shot for defenseman Tom Bladen. And 5's going to be out of range, and Giacomin is going to smother it, and we're going to get a face-off. So, line change and face-off in the Ranger zone. And that's going to be a 6. That's going to the visiting team. So Flyers looking to set something up here. It's going to be an ice blast. We're checking the skill quality. Flyers have 3 skills. Rangers have 4. So the Rangers going to stifle that play and turn over. And the third line is out there. And this time they're out there with the second defensive pair. So it's Stemkowski, Irvine, and Nevin. And that's going to be, we're checking for the most play triangles. The Rangers have 2, the Flyers have 0, so it's a play for the Rangers. And 10 is going to be 4 to 1 to 2. So there's no momentum, so it's Nielsen to Nevin. He's got a momentum star to Irvine, so it's a 1-star shot for Teddy Irvine. And a 4, that's off the post. So that's a shot, and the Flyers will cover up. Flyers will grab it if they've got a defensive square. All 5 of their defensemen have defensive squares, so that's never going to be a question. Flyers take over. We're back to line 1. Good defensive coverage by Philadelphia there. And here, Flyers start up. And again, we're checking for play triangles. The Flyers have 4. The Rangers only have 2, so the Flyers are going to gain the zone. And there's a 9. That's going to be 4. That's Bladen to Barber to Choice. So we're going to give it to Leach. It's going to be a 4-star shot. Bladen to Barber to Leach. 4-star shot on Giacomin. And there's a goal. 4 is in range, and 6 beats his 4 play save stars. So the Flyers are the first team to get on the board there. Reggie Leach, blistering one past Giacomin's glove side from Bladen. And Bill Barber at 19 in the 19th minute. So the Flyers are going to have momentum here, and we're going to have the second line out there. And 6, the Flyers are going to win the faceoff. So McLeish corrals the puck. He's looking for a play, and there's going to be a lull to finish it. And that's 4 lull shots for the Flyers and 1 lull penalty for the Rangers. So I'm marking the power plays up there. So at the end of 1, Flyers 1, Rangers nothing. We'll do a quick counting of the shots. 5, 6, 7, 8 shots for the Flyers. 10, 15, 16, 17 shots for the Rangers, but most of them were low shots. So starting in the second period, I offset the line, so it's not 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, etc. So Flyers going with line 3. Watson's going to be out there, the 5th D man, with Tom Bladen. So we're just going to consider Bladen is here. And when we get to the Rangers' third line, it's going to be Ralph, and Brad Park will be the number 5 man there. Okay, so here we go. It's second period action, and 4 is going to be to the high face-off player. 55 beats a 53, so Kachuk outduels Kinderchuk in the face-off circle. Here come the Rangers. And it's going to be a momentum check. 1, 2 hits versus 1 hit for the Flyers. So the Rangers get momentum. And if I roll a second 9, I ignore the cheap shot. The cheap shot rule, even though it would be viable for this era of hockey. I just tend to ignore it. So 7, and there is another lull, and that's 4 lull shots to the Flyers, and a lull penalty on the Rangers. So that will kill the momentum. Not a lot of action here for Perrant and Giacomin. So 8, that's going to be the home team. Tkachuk wins the faceoff. Rangers gaining the zone, and there is another lull. And there is another lull penalty on the Rangers. Wow. Let's get some action going here. The Madison Square Garden fans are starting to get restless here. And that's going to be high faceoff, so that's the Rangers again. Tkachuk. And they move out of neutral zone, and that's an ice blast, and we're checking the star quality. 1, 2, 3 for the Rangers, and only 1 for the Flyers, so the Rangers got to play here. They gain the zone. 7, that's another secondary chart reading. We're getting a lot of those. So 4 is going to be 5 to 2 to 3. So that's Horton to Fairburn, 1 star, to Tkachuk, 1 star. So it's going to be a 2-star shot on Bernie Perrant. We need to beat a 5 or a 6 on the white die. But 3 is not in range. It was a 2-star shot. They got a 3. The 5 would have beat Perrant's rating. So Perrant stick save, and he dumps it behind the goal line for the Flyers to take over. So it's Rangers' third line against the Flyers' top line. Flyers start out. So nice save there by Perrant. So 9, it's going to be another momentum check here. So DuPont, Clark, that's 2 hits. And the Rangers got 1, 2. Rangers got 3 hits. So turnover there. Rangers, Brad Park dishing out a big hit there. And we get the Flyers back on the heel. So that would be another 9. That's a cheap shot. I tend to ignore those. And there's an ice blast. We're checking the power. 1, 2, 3, 4 powers for the Rangers. And 3 for the Flyers. So it's another play for the Rangers. Getting the better play here in the second period. And 5, so that's going to be 3 Stemkowski to Irvine to Choice. So we'll give it to Teddy Irvine. It's going to be a 2-star shot. Needs a 2 on the black die and a 5 or 6 on the white die. And he gets it. Teddy Irvine beats Perrant. Stick side. Rangers have tied this one up. So it's Irvine from Stemkowski, and Bob Nevin. So the Rangers have momentum. They keep the momentum. And it's going to be third line out for the Rangers. And let's see, we're going to put we're going to give Bruce McGregor a shift in place of Stemkowski at center. And Rod Sealing is going to be the defenseman with Dale Rolfe. Okay, this is how I mix the extra guys into the action here. So that was about the 8-minute mark of the second period. So here we go. Face-off. Flyers win it. McLeish looking to start out, and there's a ice blast. We're checking the smart quality. Flyers got 5 smarts, and the Rangers have 5 smarts because they have momentum. That's a turnover. Rangers force a turnover there. The veteran players, that's what the smart quality is what I consider it for. It's for veteran players. So they knew how to read that play, and they stopped the Flyers before they could gain the zone. So here we go with the Rangers, and there's a 10. Now, we know every defenseman has a defensive square, so that's going to be a turnover. Let's see. Terry Crisp is going to be out there in place of Kindrachuk, and DuPont is going to be the other defenseman. So that's a turnover because of the defensive square, and it's a breakaway for the Flyers. So we've got some action here. Who's coming in alone on Giacomin? So that's a 4 to 2 to Choice. So Joe Watson to Dave Schultz, and it's going to be a 0-star shot for Oris Kindrachuk or Don Selesky. So they're hoping for a rebound at the most. So it's going to be a rebound. So Giacomin makes the initial save, stacks the pads, but it comes out to Dave Schultz. It's going to be a 1-star shot. Schultz is in front of the net. He's got a chance. And that's going to be another save by Giacomin off the post, and a defensive square. The Flyers will take over, and of course they have one. So Joe Watson corrals that puck, and the Flyers hold off some damage there after the Rangers got two good shots there. Flyers got 2 good shots. Excuse me, I'm getting it mixed up here. As I start to lose my voice, and we're only halfway through the game. So the Rangers take over. And a 12, that's going to be a spectacular save chance for the Rangers. Bernie Parent's got 4 spec save stars. And a 9, he needed 4 stars, and Bernie Parent with a spectacular save. That's his first one of the game. And momentum shifts to the Flyers. Great save by Parent. So we've got a face-off in the defensive zone. And a 12, we are checking the unusual results. Let's see what we got here. And 6 is we're checking the injury chart. So someone is going to be out for the... I just play for the rest of the period when injury comes up. So it's a 2-26. Home goalie takes a shot. Timeout remains in game. Okay, so nothing... no change of goalies there, luckily for the Flyers. And we changed lines. So back to Rangers line 1. And we are going to sub Glenn Sather in for Vic Hadfield. We're going to give Slats a shift. And Ed Van Imp is going to be the 5th defenseman along with Joe Watson for the Flyers' 3rd line. And we'll let Bob Kelly be out there for Dave Schultz. This is how I mix the guys in. So we got a face-off. 8, it's going to be to the home team. So Rangers gag lines got it. And 12, there's another spec save chance. Parent being tested here in the second period. And a 6, they need 3 stars. Parent has 4. There's another shot by the Rangers, and there's another spec save. Spectacular save by Bernie Parent, and they keep the momentum. So Bernie Parent showing why he was one of the top goalies in the 74-75 season. Face off in the defensive zone. 5, it's going to be an automatic play for the Flyers. So they get out of the zone, cross center ice, and the Clark Barber Leach line is making a play here. That's 1-3-4. Leach to Barber to Bladen. So they got, with the momentum, they get another star. So it's a 5-star shot to Tommy Bladen. And Giacomin's got 4 play stars. So 6, but 1 does not beat Giacomin. And he smothers the puck, holds on to the puck, not taking any chances there with the 3 Flyers swarming around the net. So we got a face-off in the Rangers zone. Rangers leading 1-0. And we'll put Tim Horton out there as the 5th defenseman with Dale Rolfe. And it's face-off, automatic play for the Rangers. So they get out of the zone, cross center ice. Stemkowski, Irvine, and Nevin. So that's going to be 2-1-3. Irvine to Nevin to Stemkowski. Only a 1-star shot. And Parent's got that one. Absorbs the shot with the body. Drops it in the corner for a new line. So Bernie Parent getting the job done here in the second period. And we'll put Jimmy Watson out there along with brother Joe Watson for the Flyers. Kinderchuk, Schultz, and Selesky. As the Flyers have the puck. 10, that's going to be a turnover because the Rangers have 2 players with a defensive square, so we're in the same minute. And we're checking a zoom check, 4 versus 2. We are checking the smart quality. Park has it, Schultz does not, so even though they had momentum, it's going to be a turnover. Turnover for the Rangers. Brad Park there getting the better of Dave Schultz. So we mark a turnover, and the Rangers start out. And 2, we got a possible fight. So Flyers got Dupont a 6, Bobby Clark a 5. The best the Rangers have is a 2. So I play it. Both numbers have to roll within their range. And if there's no fight, then that's the end of momentum. So this is visitor home. So it's out of the Rangers' fight range. So there is no fight, just a little scrum in the corner. That will kill the momentum there. So Rangers' 3rd line, we're going to put McGregor out there again. And we are going to put Jimmy Nielsen in with Rolfe. And we got 3 minutes left in the second period. So the Rangers win the faceoff. And a 9, we are checking momentum. So 1, 2, 3 hits for the Rangers. 1, 2, 3 for the Flyers. So the Rangers get the home advantage there. So they keep the puck and they've got momentum. And that's another 9, so we're going to ignore that. No cheap shots. I don't want to bother with that. So we Ice Blast, we're checking skill. 1, 2, 3, 4 skills. 1, 2, 3, 3 for the Flyers. So the Rangers win it, and they make a play. So 5 is going to be Stemkowski to Nevin. So he gains a momentum star to Irvine, a 3-star shot for Teddy Irvine. And 6 is going to be out of range. Absorb shot with the body. So Perrant makes another save. He's got that one. No sweat. So what am I? No, Rangers third line. There we go. This was confusing me there. Okay, so the Flyers third line takes over against the gag line for the Rangers, and we're going to put Bladen out there as the defenseman with Joe Watson, and we're going to give Terry Crisp another shift at center. So 8, we are checking Ice Blast. We are checking the power quality. 5 powers for the Rangers, so they automatically win it because they've got momentum. We don't even have to check. Flyers only have 4. So it's a turnover. Rangers force a turnover. We're in the final minute of the second period. And 9, that's a momentum check, so the Rangers keep the puck. And we've got a zoom. It's going to be 3 versus 3, Tkachuk versus Clark. Since the Rangers have momentum, they need anything but a 4. And there's a 5 smart quality. So the Rangers win that check. Tkachuk gets around Clark, and they heads for the net, a 2. That's 2-3-5. Fairburn to Tkachuk to Horton, but he's got a scissor, so that knocks it down to a 1-star shot for Tim Horton. And 8, and stick save Perrant, and that will end the period. But the Rangers got 1 goal to tie it up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots for the Rangers, 24 in the game. 8, 9, 10, 11 for the Flyers. That's 19 for the Flyers. I'm going to take a break and see how much time I have left on the camera. We'll be right back. Okay, we're ready to get underway with third period action. Score is tied 1-1, Madison Square Garden. 75 Flyers with Bernie Perrant in net. 71 Rangers with Eddie Giacomin in net. So the Rangers put out the third line, and since the third period, we're sitting out the 5th D-man. So it's going to be Stemkowski, Irvine, Nevin with Sealing and Park. And we're going to give Slats 1 more shift. I only gave him 1 shift. I should have gave him more over the first 2 periods. He's going to replace Bobby Nevin. And the Flyers counter with McLeish, Lonsberry, Dornhofer. Here we go. Face-off, third period action. And we've got a 4, so it's going to the high face-off man. 53 for Stemmer, 55 for Rick McLeish. Flyers win the face-off. So 3 versus 3 on a zoom check. So it's McLeish versus Stemkowski. We're checking the hit quality, and Stemmer has it, McLeish does not. So it's a turnover, and the Rangers get momentum. So the Flyers, we're going to sit Joe Watson now. They're going with DuPont and Bladen with line 3. And we've got to give Bob Kelly 1 more shift. He's only had 1, I believe. So he's going to replace Dave Schultz. That was a turnover. So the Rangers got it, and the Rangers have momentum. So we're checking Ice Blast with the skill quality. 1, 2, 3, 5 skills, automatic. We don't have to check because the Rangers have momentum. So the gag line, getting it done here. Secondary play chart. And 11 is 5 to 3 to 1. So there's a momentum star from Sealing to Rattel. He's got a momentum. To 1 is Rod Gilbert. So it's a 5-star shot. Sealing to Rattel to Rod Gilbert. And that's going to be a spec save because the 1 is in range. 6 beats Perrant's 4 stars. But goalie extends a body. We're checking for a spectacular save. He's got 4 stars. Bernie Perrant already has 2 in the game. But a 4 is a goal. He could not get a stick on that one. The Rangers have taken the lead. Bernie Perrant could not make the save. Rod Gilbert from Jean Rattel and Rod Sealing. Underrated defenseman Sealing. So the Rangers keep momentum. The Flyers go back to their top line. Rangers got their defensive line of Tkachuk, Fairburn, Ballone out there with Horton and Jimmy Nielsen. Jimmy the Chief Nielsen. Face-off. Flyers win that one. They start out from the neutral zone, and there's going to be our first penalty check of the game. It's been a relatively quiet game so far, surprising for the rivalry between these two teams. So 8, we're checking Reggie Leach. He's a 1. He's going up against Tim Horton, who's a .5. So it's going to be a penalty on Reggie Leach. And a 10, that's just going to be a minor. So that's going to be the first non-lull power play of the game. So that's Leach, 2 minutes, and the Rangers will have a power play. So what I do here, I move each line up. These are going to be the lines that come on after the power play. Rangers have momentum on the power play, and I just remember who the players are instead of taking them out of the sleeves and moving them around. So line 1 is going to be the gag line with Park, and we'll keep Rod Sealing there. Line 2 will be Tkachuk, Fairburn, Balone with Jimmy Nielsen and Stemkowski on the point. For the Flyers, the first one is going to be Barbara Clark with Bladen and DuPont. So there's 2 penalty kill circles. And the other one is going to be Crisp and Dornhofer with Van Imp and Jimmy Watson. Okay, so here we go. Power play chance for the Rangers. 9, they need 2 circle stars, and they do have it to get an automatic play. Gilbert and Rattel are power play specialists. So there's a play. 2-1-3. Hatfield to Gilbert. They get a momentum star. To Rattel, another momentum star. A 6-star shot against Bernie Parent. They need a 5 or 6 on the white die. And they do not get it. 9, absorbed shot with body, drops in the corner, but the Rangers still keep the puck in the zone. So the Rangers, line 2 is out on the power play. Rangers still with the puck. 11, we are checking battle for possession. So nobody, no, they have 1 circle star with Balone, and the Flyers have 1 penalty kill circle. So the advantage goes to the Rangers since they're tied because they're on the power play. So the Rangers keep the puck, and there's a 3 automatic power play shot, and it's going to be 10, 4-1-2. Nielsen with a momentum. Balone with a momentum to Bill Fairburn. He's got no shot stars, but he gets 2 because of the momentums. So it's a 2-star shot for Billy Fairburn. And that's going to be out of range and snared with the glove hand, Bernie Parent. And so the Flyers managed to weather that power play. And Flyers take over with line 2 out of their own zone. And a 5 is going to be another penalty check, so maybe things are getting chippy here in the third period now that the Rangers had the lead. So we're checking player 3 on the Flyers. That's McLeish, 3 versus Stemkowski, a 1, so it's going to be a penalty on the Rangers. Madison Square Garden fans not liking this call, and that's a 7, and it's going to be 2 minutes on Stemmer. So Flyers are going to have momentum. Flyers are on the power play. Rangers penalty killers, Tkachuk and Fairburn with Horton and Nielsen, the first pairing. And we will go with McGregor and Sather with Sealing and Park. No, actually, we're going to make Sealing and Park the first pairing to get, that'll be 3 defensive penalty kill circles. Yeah, Tkachuk and Fairburn with Horton and Nielsen, McGregor, Sather with Sealing and Park. And for the Flyers, of course, the top line with Bladen and DuPont. No, McLeish usually played the point on that, so McLeish will be on the point. And the second line will let McLeish double shift, and Kindrachuk will be on the point in place of Jimmy Watson. And when we come back on, these will be the lines when we come back on. So here we go, Flyers power play. 6, the shorthanded. Rangers are going to get that. So Tkachuk and Fairburn controlling the puck here in the first minute. 9, the most play triangle. So the shorthanded Rangers have 2. And of course the Flyers are going to have more. So it will be a play for the Flyers, top line. 3-2-1. So that's Clark. He now has 4 stars. To Barber, 5. Oh, 6. Automatic 6-star shot for the Reggie Leach. And he's got to beat a 5 or 6 on the white die to beat Giacomin. And he does! Power play goal for the Flyers. Their top line getting the job done there. Reggie Leach with his second of the game from Bill Barber and Bobby Clark ties this one up, and they will keep momentum. And we go back, that was about the 7 or 8 minute mark of the third period. We've got a tie game again. So here we go, Flyers with the third line out with the second defensive pairing. And 8, the Rangers will win that one. And it's going to be a zoom check, 3 versus 3. And we're checking the smart quality. Rattel has it. Kinderchuk has it because the Flyers have momentum. Flyers forced the turnover. And it's back to their top line. And 7, there's a lull. First lull in a long time. 2 Ranger low shots, 1 for the Flyers. And that will kill the momentum as we cross the midway point of the third period. And there's another unusual result. And 5 is going to be another injury check. See which team is going to lose a key player. He had 3-3. Visitor player 3. Oh, that's going to be Bobby Clark. So he is going to be injured for the remainder of the game. Oh boy, that could be a big factor in this game. So let's see. We're going to put. We'll move Kinderchuk up to the top line. Do a little shuffling here. And Terry Crisp will center the third line. So Oris Kinderchuk being pressed into service on the Flyers' top line. As Bobby Clark, as tough as he is, he took a vicious hit there and he could not continue. Okay, so here we go. Face-off. And there's 7. There's another lull. 2 Ranger shots and 1 Flyer shot. As we're coming down to the final 5 minutes of the third period, we could end up with a tie here. We're not going to play overtime. Just consider it a regulation game, a chance to show off these 2 Hall of Fame goalies. And I do have a picture of myself, by the way, posing with Ed Giacomin's equipment at the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto. Maybe I'll post it at the end of the video. All right, 8, Rangers win the faceoff. And 4, that's going to be an odd man rush. We're checking the defensive square on McLeish. He doesn't have it. Rangers with a play. It's an 8. That's Hatfield to Gilbert to Rattel. That's a 4-star shot for John Rattel. And the 4 is within range, and the 5 beats Bernie Perrant's 4 stars. Big goal there for the Rangers in the remaining 5 minutes. John Rattel splitting the D. Give and go with Hatfield and Gilbert. And the Rangers take the lead 3-2 with 4 minutes remaining. So the Flyers going with their third line with the first defensive pair. Okay. With 4 minutes, this is how I got to work out the final minutes here. Okay. So 7. So it's only going to be a 1 minute lull, because I can't remember if Keith said you're supposed to go past the last 3 minutes, but I stop it at 3 minutes. So we're going to change lines. Rangers got the third line out. Flyers got the first line with Kinderchuk centering it. And we're not pulling the goalie yet. So 8, the Rangers are going to win the faceoff. And they've got Horton and Nielsen are the defensemen. So 7, that's last 3 minutes, that's going to be a momentum check. So that's 4 hits for the Rangers, 1 hit for the Flyers. Rangers can get momentum here. And 5's a penalty check. Oh boy, this could be costly for either team. And 7, that's going to be a coincidental, or maybe not, because I used this multiple penalty chart that a gamer came up with. So 9 is going to be minor on the 4th highest for the Flyers, minor on the 2 highest for the... You know what? A game like this, I'm just going to call it coincidental minors. Let's see. Coincidental minors, it's going to be 4 on 3. Yeah, you know what? I'll let the Flyers have the... I'll let the Flyers have the power play. I'll play it by the chart. So the 2 highest for the Rangers... Irvine and Stemkowski, and the 4th highest for the Flyers. Let's see, we got to roll for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be Bill Barber. Oh boy, they don't want to lose him. So the final 2 minutes, the Flyers are going to have a power play, but without Bill Barber. So we're going to move back, Hound Dog Kelly up to the first line. So the first line of the final power, and we're going to make it a 5-on-4 power play. I don't know if it's supposed to be a 4-on-3, but it's because 2 Rangers got penalized. They're going to make it a 5-on-4. So that first line is going to be Kendrachuk, Kelly, and Leach. Not the ideal power play line. Against Kachuk, Fairburn, Nielsen, and Horton. And then, I can't even read my writing. Who did I say that was? Oh, it looks like Irvine. It doesn't matter. Well, the 3rd line ain't going to be out there. And then Gregor and Sather and Sealing and Park. And boy, what do we do? They would be pulling the goalie in this situation. I was hoping I wouldn't have a situation like this at the end of the game. Having to pull the goalie and having a power play. All right, let's just roll for the power play. Maybe on the power play, maybe I will make. Should I make 7 an empty netter? I don't know what to do. All right, let's see what happens. So 9, they're going to need 2 circle stars. They only have 1 now. If Clark wasn't injured and Barber wasn't in the penalty box, they would have had a play here. But they don't. But they still win the faceoff. I was hoping we wouldn't have all this at the end of the game. Oh well. 5 is a penalty event. Oh boy, what a time not to have another penalty event. So 4, so we are checking defense 4 on the Rangers versus defense 2. Offense 2. So it's going to be a penalty on Bob Kelly. It is going to nullify their power play. So 7, that's going to be 2 minutes on Bob Kelly. Why couldn't we just have a normal finish to the game? So the last minute of the game, it's going to be a 4-on-4. And we are going to check the empty minutes because the Flyers are going to pull Bernie Parente down a goal. And we're just going to say if something comes to the... in a 4-on-4, I always sit out the offense 2 player. So if any play involves the number 2 player, it's just going to be like a turnover or nothing. But it's still the empty minutes chart. The Flyers are pulling their goalie, so we're going to put Rick McLeish is going to be the extra skater in place of Kelly. So Rick McLeish is up here. Here we go. Oh boy. 8. Man advantage team wins the face-off, immediate play. So here we go. Flyers have a play. So it's going to be 4-2. That 2 is McLeish. And it's another thing I can't remember. Is the man advantage team considered to have momentum? I don't think so. So 4-2 to Choice. So it's going to go to Leach. A 4-star shot for Reggie Leach. Tom Bladen to Rick McLeish to Reggie Leach. Flyers have the empty net, but they are in the Ranger zone. They've got a shot. 3-6. They beat Eddie Giacomin. Reggie Leach completes the hat trick. And they tie it up with the extra skater on. Now remember, the game cannot... wait, let me mark down the assists from Bladen and McLeish. And the game cannot end on a goal or a face-off. So there's going to be one more play at even strength. Now, the Flyers have momentum. I'm going to put the second line out. We'll put the second line out for the Rangers. And there's going to be one more play. So the only thing that is going to result in a play is 5, a visitor automatic play, 9, home automatic play, or something on the 12, unusual result table. Otherwise, this game is going to end in a 3-3 tie. Here we go. Anything but a 5, 9, or 12, and the game will continue. And there's a 7. Game over. Whistle blows. No conclusion there. 2 all-star goalies, fittingly, battled to a tie. Bernie Parent, actually, you could say maybe he had the better game with the 2 spec saves, and Eddie Giacomin letting up a goal there right in the final minute. Got to give first star to Reggie Leach for the hat trick. And a range of goals were Irvine, Gilbert, Rattel. Let's see the shots for the third period. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 shots for the Rangers. That's 34. So Parent made 31 saves, and 1, 2, 3, only 5 shots for the Flyers. 24 shots, so Eddie Giacomin made 21 saves. So I would say Bernie Parent had the edge as far as the goaltending goes. And a lot of excitement there in the last couple of minutes. So if you stuck it out to the end of the game, final score, Flyers 3, Rangers 3 at Madison Square Garden. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.